ലൈഫ് ഓഫ് ഗാന്ധിജി ഒരു അവലോകനം. Known for his ascetic lifestyle, he often dressed only in a loincloth and shawl and devout Hindu faith. Gandhi was imprisoned several times during his pursuit of non-cooperation and undertook a number of hunger strikes to protest the oppression of India's poorest classes, among other injustices. He was born on October 2, 1869 at Porbandar, and his wife Kasturba Gandhi. Wearing a simple loincloth and shawl, Gandhi lived an austere life devoted to prayer, fasting, and meditation. He became known as Mahatma, which means great soul. Mahatma Gandhi, by name of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, Indian lawyer, politician, social activist, and writer who became the leader of the nationalist movement against the British rule of India. He was shy and did not mix easily with the other children. Every morning he went to school in time and ran back home as soon as school was over. His books were his sole companions and he spent all his free time alone reading. He had one friend, however, a boy named Uka. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi is widely recognized as one of the 20th century's greatest political and spiritual leaders, honored in India as the father of the nation. He pioneered and practiced the principle of satyagraha, resistance to tyranny through mass, non-violent civil disobedience. The Gandhi couple had 4 children, all sons. Harilal, born in 1888, Manilal, born in 1892, Ramdas, born in 1897, and Devadas, born in 1900. On 7 June 1893, M.K. Gandhi, later known as the Mahatma or the Great Soul, was forcibly removed from a white-solely carriage on a train in Petermarisburg for not obeying laws that segregated each carriage according to race. On September 16, 1932, in his cell at Yerwada jail in Pune, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi begins a hunger strike in protest of the British government's decision to separate India's electoral system by caste. Some of the freedom movements led by Gandhiji that we should know are Quit India Movement 1942, Civil Disobedience Movement 1930, Non-Cooperation Movement 1920, Khilafat Agitation 1919, and Champaran Satyagraha 1917. The Champaran Satyagraha, which is India's first civil disobedience movement, was launched by Mahatma Gandhi in the year 1917. This vital movement in the history of India gave strength to the Indian citizens to raise voice against the injustice being done to them. Salt March, mainly known as Salt Satyagraha, which began with the Dandi March in the year 1930. This movement was an essential part of Indian independence movement and non-violence resistance against tax. Gandhiji led this Dandi March with a lot of followers behind him. 5 important lessons to learn from Mahatma Gandhi. October 2nd, Gandhi Jayanti is also celebrated as the International Day of Non-Violence. This is to spread the idea of non-violence through education and other public awareness activities. His teachings have made an impact on society. Let's take a look at 5 things that all of us should learn from Mahatma Gandhi. Non-violence, truth and honesty, forgiveness, perseverance, and mindfulness. Non-violence is the greatest force at the disposal of mankind. These are the words of the man himself, and this tells us why we should follow the path of non-violence. Truth and honesty. Gandhiji showed us that truth alone triumphs, and this is evident from a lot of his real life stories. He led a life of truth, seeking the truth. Truth and honesty is a lesson that people should learn from Mahatma. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is a virtue, and the very famous story of Mahatma Gandhi showing his right cheek when someone slapped him on his left cheek stands proof of how forgiving Gandhiji was. He said that an eye for an eye only ends up making the whole world blind. Such a simple yet powerful thought. Perseverance. A river cuts through the mountains not because of its strength, but because of its perseverance. Quite often, we give up when things get tough. Mahatma Gandhi was a living example of how perseverance can lead us towards winning. He never gave up on his dream of a free India. Mindfulness. Gandhiji emphasized on the importance of mental well-being and mindfulness. Mindfulness is a process of being aware and non-judgmental. It was his mindfulness that helped him forgive and made him pursue his goals. He said that you must be the change that you wish to see in the world. Gandhian philosophy. Gandhi believed that at the core of every religion was truth, that is Satya, non-violence, ahimsa, and the golden rule. Despite his belief in Hinduism, Gandhi was also critical of many of the social practices of Hindus and sought to reform the religion. Gandhian ideology emphasizes not on idealism but on practical idealism. Gandhian philosophy is a double-edged weapon. Its objective is to transform the individual and the society simultaneously in accordance with the principles of truth and non-violence. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi is widely recognized as one of the 20th century greatest political and spiritual leaders. Honored in India as the father of the nation, he pioneered and practiced the principle of satyagraha, resistance to tyranny through mass, non-violent civil disobedience. His non-violent resistance helped end British rule in India and has influenced modern civil disobedience movements across the globe. Widely referred to as Mahatma, meaning great soul or saint in Sanskrit, Gandhi helped India reach independence through a philosophy of non-violent non-cooperation. Gandhian idea of trusteeship holds relevance in the current scenario as people live lavish lifestyle and destroy these resources recklessly, indebting future generations. On ethical and behavioral part, Gandhianism has much significance today because society is witnessing the degradation of values. Gandhi's religion was spiritual humanism because he declared that the service of the poor, whom he called Daridra Narayana, is a true service of God. In other words, Gandhi found God amidst his creation. This creation is confined not only to India, his own land, and not Hinduism alone, the religion to which he belonged. The three main sources of Gandhian thought: Raichand by his living contact, Tolstoy by his book The Kingdom of God is Within You, and Ruskin by his book Unto This Last. Besides these three personalities, Gopal Krishna Gokhale and Gita and Bible were lifelong sources of inspiration for Gandhi. The impact of Gandhian philosophy. Gandhian philosophy is very effective in the process of social reconstruction. The Sarvodaya, non-violence, truth, spiritualism, creative work, and Gram Swaraj are the main mechanisms of Gandhian thought. The Gandhian thought attracted the attention of many thinkers. One among them was Jayaprakash Narayan. ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു മനുഷ്യൻ ഭൂമിയിൽ ജീവിച്ചിരുന്നു എന്ന് ഭാവി തലമുറ വിശ്വസിക്കില്ല. ആൽബർട്ട് ഐൻസ്റ്റീൻ.